Welcome back to the Name Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. Tyler's here, Jake's here. I guess I want to say it's like, Red Sox win going into the podcast supposed to be, happy pod. And there will be, be some parts of it that are happy. We're gonna try our best. It's fucking 12:30 in the morning. There was a 2-hour rain delay to start this game. So fuck us. Apparently, this is there was that one West Coast trip where we had to do like a super late night podcast, which resulted in a nice thread for Jake, because even though we're podcasting late into the night, Jake still has to edit the thing afterwards, and we, got to wake up tomorrow morning and do it again for Baseball's Dead. Jake is a warrior, so shout out to Jake for that.
Did you guys see the subreddit post that people love to watch Jake in the last like 30 minutes of the 2-hour episodes as he's blinking to stay awake?
Yeah, it's just, he's fighting. He's battling.
It's a fucking tank, dude.
Jake works a lot. He works hard. A lot of hours.
I'm sorry to jump like this. Fuck you, Jake.
Wow.
I know we were just giving you flowers. That last ad read, I can't really respond. I have nothing to say because you dicked me down pretty badly there.
You deserved it.
Mean, uncalled for, not right.
103.
I'm trying my best.
You're trying your best, but I mean, you rattled the beast's cage. Like, that's what you get.
I didn't want the dog to bite me, and the dog fucking bit me.
What is up with you and dogs, dude?
I'm sorry. I had an incident today.
You can't. What? What did you do?
I didn't kill a dog.
Okay, but you thought about it.
I felt urges.
Okay.
I
what happened?
So for the first time, I went to the doctor. Not ever, but since college. Now I'm 25.
You're not an adult.
Yes.
Yeah.
I talked about my pediatrician deciding to part ways with me for whatever reason.
You didn't part ways with your pediatrician. Your pediatrician parted ways with you.
Thought we had a good thing going.
Yeah.
So I went to the doctor, whatever. They made me get blood work. Clearly, I need my blood checked. And I'm in there. And this lady starts trying to murder me. She couldn't find my veins.
Well, that means you're dehydrated.
Does it?
Yeah. Do you drink a lot of water?
Yeah, some days.
Okay, so no. The answer is
I didn't
no.
have a sip of water today.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's what that is.
Well, yeah, she starts
been really
prickling
fun.
me.
Like normally, like in my history, in my past, I've been the guy where it's like, oh, he only knows baseball, he doesn't know anything about life. And then you came into my life, and it's not so bad. Like the fact that you don't know that if they can't find a vein, that means that you're dehydrated. And I'm asking you if you drank water, and you're like, some days.
Yeah, I guess. Like I remember I got my neck done like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Your neck done?
Yeah, I had like a little bump kind of situation. Nothing cancerous, but they had to remove it.
Okay.
And they couldn't find my vein, so they were kind of stabbing me then. But I thought it was a one-time thing. I thought maybe I was a little nervous. My veins were hiding.
I don't know that that's how that works. Yeah, you got to drink water, dude.
Yeah, and this lady just starts prickling, and she has pictures of her dog all over the office, and I'm staring at the dog because I'm terrified of shots, and something came over me.
Just to summarize, you went to the doctor. You got designated for assignment by your pediatrician, claimed off waivers by an adult doctor. They had to poke you for whatever, drawing blood, I'm assuming. And the process of them trying to find a vein led you to a murderous rage of you wanting to kill a dog again.
Yes.
Okay.
If anyone has any open spots at any doctor offices, please reach out. I am looking for a new home.
Who would want to help a dog killer?
I'm cool. I'll take a pediatrician. I'm really not. I'm not hating on anything.
No, you're 40
Nothing's
now.
different. I'm not 40.
Yes, you are.
I'm a young man.
Jake, do you have anything to say about your Blue Moon ad read for Tyler last week?
Yeah, I just don't really know what he wants me to do. Like you said, I lost my fastball, so I just had to come at him.
Yeah. And you did, and I thought you did a great job. A lot of people tuned in just for the ad read. A lot of people were telling me that, they listen to every episode and they love the podcast, but they started at the Blue Moon ad read and then went back to the beginning of the show.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the love for the segment. It's a blast just ripping Tyler every week.
Yeah. Twice a week.
Why is it so easy? It comes so naturally. It's like sometimes when I listen, it's like the things Jake wants to say to me, but like out of respect, like as a good person, he wouldn't say to me.
No, he says it. I mean, it's not he says it privately. He says it to tens of thousands of people to listen to the podcast.
Let's talk about the Red Sox.
let's talk about the Red Sox. They won a baseball game tonight, this morning. Long day. Woke up, did Baseball is Dead, drove into Boston because I lost a bet to Kyle Freeland 3 years ago and had to get his number tattooed on my leg. So we shot a video.
It's not posted, right?
Not yet, no. But I interviewed him as the guy was tattooing my thigh, and it was a good interview. How do you think you would handle getting tattooed? This is the second time in the last year that I've interviewed someone while getting tattooed at the same time. So I don't know what that says about me, but
I'd be terrified. Like I said, anything like needle, sharp, blood, any of those things, not a fan.
It's not that bad. I told you, I don't like needles either, but I could do tattoos. It's different.
Now, how big is this tattoo? Are we talking like fist?
Like $50.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah. Like $50 would cover it on my thigh. Yeah. But, that's going to be there forever now. That's and it's funny because I did it. It's his jersey number, which is 21, and I had him do it in his handwriting, which is terrible. So, it looks like ZI, looks like Z1. So from my perspective, looking at it, it looks like I have a tattoo that says is.
Okay. All right. It could be worse.
Yeah.
Is it better than the Boston tattoo?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as it's not the worst one.
Yeah. I mean, that's my third tattoo that's in someone else's handwriting.
Is that a thing? A lot of people, I would be scared to trust someone to, I don't know, put their signature on me.
People do that, like if Uncle Bucky wrote you like a Christmas card.
Uncle Cubby.
And if Uncle Bucky said oh,
I have an Uncle Bucky.
Merry Christmas, Tyler. Love you. And then you took his handwriting from the Christmas card and then you had that turned into a stencil and then they tattoo it on you in his handwriting. I've seen people do that.
I want to make one thing clear here for my family who's listening to this podcast, because there's a lot of the Milliken clan who listens.
Oh, shout out to the Milliken clan.
Uncle Cubby and Uncle Bucky are two different people.
So you do have an Uncle Bucky.
He's also dead.
Oh, rest in peace, Uncle Bucky again.
He died in the future, though. He died 6 years later.
I thought you meant he's going to die in 6 years. And I was like,
no. Like the others, he
died in 2009.
Perished. Yes, very bullet-like.
You got hit by a car?
No. Well, he fell down the stairs. So I guess there was a collision with the ground.
What is wrong with you and the people connected to you?
We're not built to last. Honestly, I think some people are just not built to live a long time. People used to tell me all the time I'd be dead by 25.
I feel bad laughing, but that's just, people that
Uncle Bucky hit the fucking floor hard, man.
Yeah. People that are connected to you, they just, they go in odd ways, which kind of just points all back to you,
I don't know how I'm going to die, but when the time comes, it'll be the time.
Yeah, it's going to be funny.
You won't even shed a tear for a second?
Nah, it'll be funny. It depends. It depends, I could see you being oh man, this weekend I'm going skydiving, and then you just fucking crash into the ground. I'd be like, that sucks. But I would be sad at first, but then I'd be like, that's kind of funny.
Just please, if there's a video, do not post the video.
I'm gonna make memes out of it.
I don't want to be one of those awful, gruesome videos that pop up on your For You page right now.
Yeah, what is up with that, by the way?
Oh, can I tell you about one of the videos I saw?
Oh, was it the van one?
Oh, that one was bad, but I got a better
I just saw that this morning. I was literally driving to Boston. I was at a red light and I look at my For You page and there's just people on the ground from a van thing.
The leg being tourniquet.
Yeah,
dude. That video, I thought you were talking about the New York one. That one terrified me. Yeah. The dude who got eaten by a fucking shark.
So I heard about this. I saw people tweeting about it being I woke up this morning and I just check Twitter. Next thing you know, I'm watching some dude get eaten by a shark. I'm I didn't see that one.
Dude, it legit, okay, you've played Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yeah.
So GTA 5, you go out deep enough and the sharks will fucking eat you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this was. This guy's just, doing his thing. He's out in the water. I think he's in Egypt. And the shark just one bite. And then you could tell he's oh, fuck. He's doggy paddling. He's trying to stay alive. Shark comes back around, gets him again. He somehow was still standing. He did not survive the third thrashing.
They have an ocean in Egypt?
I guess it said Egypt on the tweet.
Oh,
Egypt
man.
coast. Egyptian coast.
Huh.
The shark fucked him up, dude. And like, I'm going to be going on vacation and call it 10 days. I'm scared to go in the water now.
Oh, you're perfect shark meat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. What does that mean?
You get a lot of meat for a shark.
Clarify.
You're a thick boy.
It's 12:36 a.m. on Thursday morning, and you were calling me a fat ass on our podcast.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't use that word. No, I didn't.
I'm a big body.
Yeah, you
Well built.
you would be appetizing to a shark, for sure.
Definitely not husky.
Yeah, you're built different.
I'm like Casas.
Yeah.
Like Lil Bro.
You just call Casas your little bro?
I did a couple podcast episodes ago. I'm older than him.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, I mean, you're 40. You got like almost 2 decades on the kid.
Okay, Mr. 34.
Yeah, I mean, that's younger than 40. Hit it out of the park this baseball season with DraftKings Sportsbook. Bet on your favorite teams, players, rivalries all season long. This week, new customers can place $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can take a shot at bigger payouts with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, place your stepped-up same-game parlay by combining 3 or more bets from any big league game. Boost your baseball winnings with each leg you add up to 100%. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up with the promo code JARED, Jared. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code JARED.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after insurance. Opt-in and 10-plus leg requirement for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms.
Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of different ways that we can start this show. We can talk about the series. We can talk about the fact that they lost the series to the Rockies, a team that they should have probably swept or at least taken 2 out of 3. We can talk about how Gomber is statistically the worst pitcher in baseball, and he was shutting them out. Not shutting them out, but basically shutting them down for like basically 7 innings, which was pathetic and sad. We can do that. Or there's a lot of tea. There's a lot of tea surrounding the Red Sox at this current time. Where would you like to start, Tyler?
I feel like let's hit the first game because the first game sparked a lot of the tea, right? Like that kind of led to them making changes, you know, not on the Casas front, in my opinion, but with Kiké, it felt like the final straw. At least for whether you want to say it was Alex Cora, whether you want to say it was the front office finally stepped in.
It was the front office that stepped in.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now that says a lot because I think there's a lot of people that have been frustrated with Cora saying you leaned on your boy for too long. Yeah. I said it with an FR.
What did I say?
You said it wrong. You said it with an FU.
It was a mistake then. I obviously know how to say frustrated.
Well, you're an idiot. Okay. But I think that's a major thing here with Kiké Hernández at this point. So there has been at least the front office saying you rode with your boy too long. Sorry, AC, like you need to make a change here and you're not willing to do it. So we're going to step in here.
Yeah. Before anyone jumps to Twitter and puts any quotes out there from the podcast saying breaking on name redacted, they said this, and this. It's an educated guess. I don't bullshit the listeners. So if I say I didn't talk to Cora, I'm telling you, I haven't talked to him since I asked him for the Clark's Catch-Up Series MVP. That's the last time that we talked. And that's the only thing we talked about. So I don't ask him stuff like that. This is from me being there because I go to, if the Red Sox are home during the week, I go to the DraftKings office on Tuesday mornings. We shoot the sweat from 11 to 12. Then Billy and I will jet over to Fenway around 3, and whatever road team is there, we will try to get interviews with one of the players or players on the road team. And someone I posted the picture of me and Bard because we got the interview with Daniel Bard, which was great. I think we're going to run that probably next week because breaking news, we have David Ortiz on Baseball is Dead tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be fun. So I was there doing the Bard thing, and then someone responded like, "Yeah, you never interview any Red Sox players," or blah, blah, blah. It takes two to tango. Like when the Red Sox are home, like why do you think that the players on the road teams are so accessible? Because they're on the road. Like they don't have like all like the home reporters there like in their face. Like they probably have like a couple road people to travel, whatever. But when the Red Sox are home, it's like there's either like 50 media members that are all over the place. They're swarming them. If they say yes to me, then they have to say yes to other people that are trying to get access to them too. Most of them, I guess they have like a gaming room I didn't know about, but like, cause I don't go in the clubhouse. I've said that before. I don't go in the clubhouse. If I'm going to talk to a player, it's usually in the dugout or during batting practice. But I guess even if you do go in the clubhouse, they're not usually hanging around. There's like a back passage way where they'll hang out in the gym. They'll hang out where they have like the catering, or there's like this like game room that they like hang out in. So it's not that I'm avoiding them or they're avoiding me, because I know that there was like the Caleb Ort drama, and I think people trying to read into that like, oh, like the players don't like Jared. Like no. Like I've narrowed it down to Ort and one other individual that's on the team that's upset about it. I've done my due diligence checking into it, being like, hey, is this an issue? And they either didn't know about it or they didn't fucking care. So it's not because of that. It's because they're just not super accessible when they're home. Like it's almost like in the past when we've done interviews with guys, it's guys that I've had their number or we follow each other on Instagram, and I'll like be like, hey, this weekend, do you want to do something? And maybe that's on me. Like maybe I can try more actively to do that. But when I'm getting these interviews for Baseball is Dead, it's because those players are just out and about. And everyone that I've gotten so far, I didn't set up in advance. They were just there. I was like, hey, do you have 10, 15 minutes? And then we do it and we're done. But with Red Sox players, they're just like, they've got their routines at home. So it's just harder to nail them down at home. But
Jared, to back what you were saying, Sean McAdam was talking to Castillo the other day and said like, it's been hard to get quotes from a couple different players this year. Like Devers kind of skipping out on the media the other day. Corey Kluber kind of doing the same thing. Verdugo dodged the media for a week, not talking about any of the benching or anything like that. They finally got him, yesterday? But McAdam has been kind of echoing pretty similar things where these guys, if they don't want to walk by people, then like someone like Verdugo is able to like hide away for days at a time and kind of let a story die down, or just, hey, we don't feel like talking today, we're not going to talk.
Yeah. Which again, like I know that the beat guys feel differently. I don't want to generalize, but like I know that like a lot of them do feel like, oh, what the fuck? Like we got jobs to do and this and that. This podcast does just fine without player interviews. Like it would be nice to have them, but I don't like to bother people. That's why I don't go in the clubhouse. And I don't usually I don't hound guys. Like I have feel. I feel like a lot of people either don't have feel or they have to bypass having feel because it's like their jobs depend on the interviews and the quotes and stuff. Whereas it's a nice little added layer if we get it. But yeah, so I was there on Tuesday, and that was the scuttlebutt, was that the assistant GMs were around the Red Sox dugout, which is, it's not like it doesn't never happen, but it's rare. Like it's like, okay, like that's different. And then an hour later, that's when the news came out that Kiké was no longer going to be the everyday shortstop, which if you're sitting here, you're like, you can put two and two together and we can make an educated guess that the message came from up top. Hey, Kiké is not the shortstop anymore. Alex Cora also like, he's a loyal guy, and I feel like he has a soft spot for Kiké, both from Puerto Rico. We saw those images in the tunnel after the season ended in 2021. I mean, like that was the first guy that, you know, there was like an emotional like embrace type thing. Like we know that their relationship is strong and it's a good one. So maybe there is that loyalty of like, hey, let's figure this out, because When it comes to Kiké's defense, when we talk about the errors, it's 15 errors, 14 of them throwing?
13 and 14.
13
throwing out of 14 errors.
Out of 14, yeah. So that becomes something where it's mental, in my opinion, or the opinion of, like, we can make an educated guess that, this is a dude that's super athletic, and we're not going to repeat ourselves. We've talked about this before because this is not like a recent development. It's been all year that it's been throwing errors for Kiké. So then it kind of becomes like, all right, are you in your head about this? And I don't want to say to Cora's credit because it didn't work out, but it appeared on the surface that Cora was giving him every opportunity to work his way out of this, and it just never happened. So I'm guessing, based on what's on the surface here, that the front office finally stepped in and said, hey, enough of the long leash. Like, this can't happen anymore. Like, he's not the shortstop anymore. Pablo Reyes is going to be out there, and then Yu Chang when he's ready, and then Story when he's ready. And that's another set of drama once we get to the Trevor Story stuff, that it did not appear as though the decision to remove Kiké from shortstop came from Alex Cora. He was the one that had to answer for it. He was the one that had to deliver the news to the media. But I think it's, you put 2 and 2 together here. That decision was not his. And I think he even kind of like, some of the sound bites that came out, even after he delivered the message that Kiké is no longer the shortstop, he kind of told you, this is what the deal is, and I don't agree with it. Like, did you get the same sense from that?
It was pretty similar. He was like, maybe it was too late, maybe not. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like he was just looking at the entire situation. He was like,
he straight up said,
yeah, I guess
Pablo
this is what
Reyes,
it is.
He said straight up, Pablo Reyes is not an everyday player. He said that.
Which is a shot at the roster he's working with as well.
And
which you play the comments over the last couple weeks about saying it's not a great roster, and some of these kind of things all coming together, and like him looking dejected. It does, there's more smoke to what people are calling a fire with him being unhappy.
And he said it again. He said the roster is the roster again. That was not a cut from a few weeks ago when he said, the roster is the roster. After the Kiké thing, he said it again. He said, the roster is the roster. And it's almost like there's a war of words going on through the media where it's all like they need to get into a room and get on the same page, or maybe we're past that point where it's not a situation where this is a relationship that can be repaired, or maybe, I feel like after a certain amount of time, they've been together, 4 years now. Oh, Cora wasn't there in 2020. But they've had enough time to work in the same space, and maybe that enough time has passed where they can come to the conclusion, hey, this isn't going to work, or we just think differently. Like, your philosophies do not mesh with my philosophies. The way that I see the game is not the way that you see the game. Sometimes that can be a good thing because you don't want to surround yourself with yes men. Because now, if you just feel a certain way and you surround yourself with a bunch of ass kissers that are like, yes, your opinion is the best. You're the best baseball mind ever. Like, for example, if I worked with Alex Cora, I would never question him. I'd be like, yeah. Like, you definitely have seen and played and have been around more baseball than I have. I'm not going to disagree with you. But then you bring in like the analytics, Tampa Bay Rays learning tree guy, and then you have Alex Cora that he has feel, and he's embracing all of it. He's embracing the numbers, but he's also
he's closer to old school.
Yeah, but there's a blend of both there, and it just feels like we're at the point where it's no longer let's try to work together with how you feel, how I feel, what your opinion is, what my opinion is, and then we'll maybe meet in the middle somewhere. It just kind of feels like this is how I feel, and this is how it's going to be. And then you have Cora being like, all right, if that's what you want, that's what you'll get. But if I don't stand by it, I'm going to let the people know that, like, I don't stand by it. And that doesn't breed positive vibes.
There's not many situations where you're going to have a manager and, your CBO, your GM, however you want to frame it. If they're not on the same page, then you're leading down a pathway that you're going to be in a lot of trouble in. And I think the thing you look at here is this isn't the start of it. This has been going on for a couple years, and I think you can really trace it back to the 2021 trade deadline, where we first heard of the unhappiness in the clubhouse. Cora seemingly was part of that. I think it came more through players than it did him. And I think 2022 was somewhat similar, where there seemed to be just not the same page. It seemed like people weren't kind of communicating the right way, or there wasn't an agreement on the direction they were going. And then I think you follow that up to this year, the Peter Gammons tweet from a week ago, involving the whole Matt Dermody situation and all that different stuff playing out, where we know Cora and Gammons' relationship. We know what Cora feeds him. There's a track record of it, if we're being honest here. Cora has talked about how much he talks to Gammons. And we know Gammons puts out a tweet saying Cora was left there all alone, and everybody who knew, everyone knew what was going to happen that day as he faced that whole media backlash, and he had no person from the front office willing to field those questions, willing to handle these questions. Is this just kind of stacking and stacking? And I thought we saw a slight punch back from Heim over the last 2 weeks saying, hey, Cora has his fingerprints all over this roster. The roster is the roster. His fingerprints are all over this thing. So let's not sit here and act like I gave him this and just said, have fun. You know what I mean? Like he left for the offseason and came back to it. This was a collaborative effort. So I do think there's a disconnect there. And I think there's been a disconnect there for some time. It's just as things get bad, that's when frustration starts to boil over and you have these things. And that first game where that Kiké Hernández error in the fourth inning, it had such a big impact. And you can look at the moments and, we'll touch on Casas as well. I think when you mention Casas, obviously that error played a big part in them losing that game. You can maybe say it was the reason. I wouldn't go that far. You really go throughout the rest of the season. You can't think of a lot of moments Casas cost you. Kiké, let's be real. You could do 10 times. You could count on your fingers all the awful moments he had. And I think there was a lot of people, they benched him in April, from that starting shortstop position and put Yu Chang there. Obviously, he had that stretch in May where he went 4 weeks without making an error, but it was well past due. I think everyone at this point, it was going beyond just, hey, Cora, we get you're riding with the guy, but this is inexcusable. We're watching this happen. You're hurting your pitchers every single night doing this. It's not fair to a starting rotation that for a month now, they are 5th in starter ERA going back to May 17th. And this is where you are as you're making these guys get more than 27 outs every single night. And it's not just all on Kiké, but he's the face of it when you've been the worst defender in baseball in terms of errors.
Yeah, no, I think the whole thing with Kiké is it's a majority opinion. It was time. And
I think Cora looks at it and he's like, well, this is the guy you kind of had us lead the clubhouse coming into this season. Do you realize how tough that is to sit him on the bench? Now you should be able to do that. But I'm guessing that's the angle Cora comes from, where it's sitting this guy down and basically saying you're going to be a utility player moving forward. That's a pretty tough blow to someone who was talking shit he was during spring training. And I'm not saying he was wrong for talking that shit, but it's a tough look for him. I bet his pride's hurting pretty bad right now after some of those comments about his resume and stuff where, he's been awful as a hitter and he's been awful defensively. He's been one of the worst everyday players in baseball.
Yeah. It was time for a change. If the front office felt like they had to step in and say, hey, this decision is no longer yours, then that's at the end of the day, we can say, wow,
that's a bad look.
They had to step in and do this. It's does anyone necessarily disagree? That's where it becomes an interesting dynamic, because I don't know that there are many, if any, Red Sox fans that disagree with the decision that we have to step in and remove Kiké as the everyday shortstop. That feels like a universal thumbs up. Good call. It was time. Respect for giving him as many opportunities as you did, but we've seen enough. It's not like the Red Sox were 7 games above 500 and he was struggling defensively. I mean, they dipped below 500 and they had lost or were in the process of losing a series to another bad team in the Colorado Rockies. It was time.
All right, we got to take a break and talk about Zyn nicotine pouches. We're always talking about what a team needs to get to number 1, but Zyn nicotine pouches are already there. Zyn has helped millions of people achieve lasting change, earning the title of America's number 1 nicotine pouch. If you're a smoker or you're a dipper looking to make a change, look no further than Zyn. Zyn is made with 6 simple ingredients and is available in a wide range of varieties, including spearmint, citrus, and even coffee. And it's available in 2 strengths so you can control your nicotine satisfaction. Because it's discreet, you can enjoy it anywhere, anytime so you never have to miss a moment of the game. Plus, every can of Zyn earns you points towards premium items like tailgating gear, top-of-the-line tech, Zyn swag, even gift cards. Find your Zyn at your local convenience store or online at Zyn.com. That's Zyn, Z-Y-N.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
The question that Maz brought up tonight with me, if you were to ask, out of all the baseball minds that are taking a paycheck from the Boston Red Sox right now, whose opinion do you trust the most?
It's a good question.
I think it's cut and dry. Like I think it's Alex Cora.
I would feel that way, but if these are the ways he's making some of these decisions at this point, where it's like I'm just riding with my boy to ride with my boy, then that clouds it. Like if you ask me straight up, yeah, I think we've talked about it. Like if there was a pathway where they were willing or they felt like they had to move off of Bloom, I think me and you have both said like we'd consider Cora a candidate to move into the front office, something he's talked about wanting to do. I think Cora is a great mind, but where the well gets poisoned is, well, where are these decisions now coming from? Like when it comes to benching a Verdugo a week ago, right? Yeah. And how that played out, it's like you're making an example out of that guy who's busted his ass all year long. And Verdugo came out and kind of said like, I was pissed off, man. When it happened, he's come to accept it. He gets it. You know, he's cool with it. What else? What other choice did he have? But he's like, he said that himself. Like, I've been the guy busting my ass all year here. Like, and I was the one who kind of took the bullet, and he's played well since coming off. So, you know, maybe you want to tip your hat to Alex Cora, but you get into that spot. Yeah, I think you do give a lot of credit to Cora, but I'm also not going to sit there and say Cora's not without his flaws either. Sure. And I think this is a flaw that would worry me. If I'm seeing a front office have to step in because you can't tell your friend Kiké Hernández to sit down on the bench because he can't field this position and he's not hitting it all, that's scary.
Yeah, but then it comes back to the roster is the roster. So if it's not Kiké, then who?
You have it's Pablo Reyes who.
Yeah, and then he comes out and says that's not an everyday player.
Cool, which no one's going to disagree with, but can he field the position? And there was a reason why in the weeks prior we've been saying Pablo Reyes could field the position. Like we've all been saying he can field it better than a guy who has the yips out there.
Yeah.
Like how many games are you going to push through that? It's not a great situation. I think anyone can go and tell you that. And, you know, partially that's due to injuries. Partially that's due to just what the roster is. But, you know, no one spoke more highly of Kiké Hernández at the end of spring training than Alex Cora, who said one of his biggest surprises at camp was Kiké Hernández's defense.
Yeah.
Where's that been? He's been horrendous over there.
Horrendous. Yeah.
But I would agree with you. In a vacuum, I lean Cora, but this is something, hearing this makes me take a step back and wonder, like, all right, there's more here. Is there more context? Is he just managing to win games, or is he now managing with other factors in mind?
Yeah, I would love to know the behind the scenes in regards to who's responsible for what. Like in terms of like how much input does Alex Cora have in like not even that, but like, you know, when you say the roster is the roster, what does that mean? Like the problematic players that you have, the guys playing positions that are not their primary positions, things like that. Whose decision is that? Who made the call on that? Who advocated for who? It sounds like Cora advocated for Kiké. Pretty obvious. What about the rest of it? When we break down, it kind of got swept under the rug because of everything else. But the Tristan Casas situation, where it's like, oh, and by the way, Turner's going to get more time at first base over Tristan Casas, who, by the way, I tweeted out the stat a couple days ago, which is not impressive. And I even said it's more indicative of the rest of the lineup. But Tristan Casas leads the Red Sox in OPS since May 1st. And it's like 801. So it's like that's, and so it's like, oh, that's not even good. It's like, no. 801 OPS is good, but it should not lead the Boston Red Sox for over a month. Like that's more of an issue of the rest of the lineup. But if you're going to point to Casas as being someone that has failed or is not pulling his weight, I would point more to the defense. But when you start looking at that, which got swept under the rug, like Casas is going to be moved off of first base a little bit here. It's like, is that Cora thing? Is that a front office thing? Is it a... Because then, was it The Athletic that had the comments about how they didn't love what his pregame routine was? And not talking about like the sunbathing and all that shit. It was that he was kind of like practicing scenarios that wouldn't normally happen in a Major League Baseball game, but he would just not do like the normal shit, like just picking it at first, which I have seen him do. I've seen Casas at first base with a coach at second base just absolutely firing fungos at him to simulate throws from an infielder that he's got to pick. I've seen him do that. But in regards to like the scenarios that he's practicing that aren't real scenarios, I don't even know what that could possibly be.
They acted like he was like diving over the railing. Like, you know, when you're a kid, like you practice robbing home runs, like jokingly or whatever. But that's the way it was phrased. And it just, to me, like, let's be real about what this season is. Like, a lot of the reasoning we came into this year about Garrett Whitlock needing to start, why we needed, you know, Brian Bayo to be in that rotation when there were talks, and people say, oh, maybe you send him down, whatever it may be. You need to get answers on a lot of these guys. It's the same reason Cutter Crawford's moved back in the rotation over a Corey Kluber, whoever it is. You need to let these guys kind of go out there and develop and figure out what it is. Best case scenario entering this year, you were a fringe wildcard team. And I think where you stand right now after losing Chris Sale for the entire, or, you know, maybe for the entire year, very likely, many would say, John Schreiber being out now for over a month and still looking pretty far ways away. Isn't it about getting these guys as many reps as possible? And you're going to punish a guy in Tristan Casas who, the defense, I've had my hand up. I said it on the Baseball Hour on Friday. That's been the most disappointing part of his game for me this year because I expected him to be better. And he leads Major League Baseball, and he's the worst in terms of defensive runs saved at first base. But now you're going to start limiting some of those reps for him over there. When the guy, Cora said it himself, I thought we were getting a great defender. Carl Feblis saying, you know, this guy, we think he's going to win a Gold Glove one day. What is the coaching going on here then? Like, if you're telling me this guy, he did come up with that reputation, and we've seen it. It's more kind of the routine plays that he's botched. It's really not the tough plays, more, you know, like the Kiké Hernández pick. He should have made that pick. I agree. Not a good throw, but we've seen him make more of those tough picks throughout this year. You're going to go and say, hey, we're going to hurt his development a little bit here, and we're going to play 38-year-old Justin Turner, who our lineup, he's been one of the few guys producing. We're going to put more miles on this guy. And listen, he had a couple nice, decent plays at first base. I know he fucked up, you know, the minute I tweeted about it, but he's done that multiple times now where he just dropped a ball thrown at him this year. That's better than that's worth sitting Tristan Casas from playing first base at times when he's been one of your more consistent bats for 6 weeks. Like, you're losing the plot here. I understand you want to keep the illusion that you're competing. Be realistic at the same time. Whatever that difference is, that little, you know, chunk of, oh, well, maybe we're this little teeny bit better. It's not worth slowing his development because you need Tristan Casas to be that middle of the order bat the next, 3 to 5 years in Boston, if any of this is going to come together. Because if he doesn't, it's a major blow. And it's part of the reason I look at it. And, Adam Duvall getting healthy has complicated this with Jarren Duran. Those guys getting limited playing time, it just doesn't sit super well with me. Because I feel like you're not doing the things necessary for what's going to be happening in the years forward. All your actions, your words may say, oh yeah, we want to compete. All your actions have been the opposite. And we've all read into them. It's been about building. It's about forming that foundation. Duran in a tough spot. I assume by the trade deadline, Duvall will most likely be moved or someone from that group. Probably not Verdugo. Definitely not Yoshida. But you'll get more playing time for Duran. Casas, he should be getting every rep. And that's the reason you moved off of Eric Hosmer this offseason. Because you said, we're going to give this guy the keys because we believe in him, but he needs to develop out there. He hasn't been bad enough to the point where you say, all right, we need to kind of shake something out and call him out publicly. I'm not a fan of either end of those things. It just didn't feel like a smart move.
Yeah. I mean, you saw him out there with Fabulous before the game today. So he was out there with the coaches that were kind of calling him out. But
they're teaching him the Pedroia UCOP.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. But I guess it kind of begs the question where we're like a month and a half away from the trade deadline. Let's just say hypothetically, if they're not in a position to get a wild card spot or what have you, and I have no reason to believe that they will be or won't be. I mean, they're just again, they're just stuck in mediocrity, and mediocrity is not
No.
going to get you a playoff spot when you look at the field.
But at the same time, Jared, like to say like, well, who knows? Do you think the Astros are going to fall off? Do you think the Rangers are going to fall off? You think the Blue Jays, like, I want to be optimistic, and I'm not saying there's a 0% chance, but you're telling me now without Chris Sale, Schreiber still ways away here, and Trevor Story now.
Paxton has emerged as kind of, I don't want to say exactly what Sale was, but pretty damn close. Like, and it might even be quietly because Chris Sale
6
comes
starts
in
with the 3.09 ERA.
Yeah, Chris Sale comes in, monster trade, wins a World Series, has the dominant 2017. So he has this fantastic pedigree, fantastic resume. So when he goes out there, we expect greatness. And at times we did see greatness from Chris Sale, and he was very, very good. But you move on because now he's not going to be here. But when you look at, oh man, does this completely fuck us? James Paxton has been pretty damn good for you. And it's because he doesn't come with this long lineage of Red Sox moments in history. He was hurt all of last year, so you kind of have to temper your expectations in regards to, is this guy going to be another guy that goes down and we just don't see him again? That's on the table. But for now, James Paxton is a guy that is pitching really well for you. And I'm not going to say, hey, if the Red Sox make the playoffs, we're in a great spot because Paxton is going to be your game one starter. Like, you don't love that. But how do people feel in 2021 when it was like, oh, well, we have no Chris Sale, or Chris Sale was there, but your game one starter, your wild card starter is Nathan Eovaldi. That was just like he was a throw-in trade in 2018. He kind of came over and was like, all right, yeah, that's nice pickup, I guess. And then he turns into your wild card game starter and he shoves in the playoffs for you. So I'm not completely, and in addition to that, because what was the statistic about like mid-May in the rotation?
Yeah, going back to May 17th, they're 5th in starter ERA.
Okay, like Whitlock has been great since he's come back from the injured list. What's that wins?
So while they are 25th or 5th in starter ERA since May 17th, 8th and 5th, the offense is 23rd, 25th in runs scored.
All right, one thing at a time.
Down to 12.
One thing at a time. The fucking rotation since mid-May has been, I'm not going to use the word exceptional. It's been really good. You should be winning more games than you have been because of the starting pitch that you got.
That's the root of it, though. It's like you had a month of that pitching. If I told you on May 17th you were going to get that, you say, oh, wow, they're going to be in the middle of the wild card race. Like they'll be right in it. Right now, you're a game under 500. You're still sitting 5 out, and it looks like Trevor Story. Maybe you get him to DH in July, which we'll get there. But that's a whole conversation about how he fits in. Because if he's planning to DH, there's no way to make sense of the roster the way it is right now either.
I don't need Trevor Story to come back and DH. I need him to come back and play shortstop.
I agree, but it seems like he's on a different. They're on a different view of that. So I don't know. I don't know if we see an interesting kind of flip or trade, maybe a very early trade deadline move where the Red Sox say, all right, we kind of just need to make this roster make a little more sense here. Because they're saying they don't want to send Casas down. Duran's been swinging it better over his last 7 games, hitting over 300. Something has to give here. And that doesn't, Yu Chang, if he can finally get this whole Hammett bone situation soreness right, he's also going to be kicking one of Arroyo or Reyes out.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the Trevor Story audio.
Oh, you know what? I can DM it to you.
Was it on? Did Nesson have it?
Yeah, I liked it. Someone had posted it today. Let me see. Here we go. Brad, shout out Brad from Pesky Report.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I just DM'd it to you.
Where, on Twitter?
Yep.
Okay, here it is. All right. So
Maz was very hot on this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So all right, I've got it queued up. But yeah, I think looking at where the roster's at right now, how Trevor Story is progressing, there's just a lot of, you just feel stuck. We're now back in a spot where you're not waiting for Chris Sale to come back. In my mind, he's not coming. It's repeat, rinse, wash. It is the same thing over and over again. If he comes back, it's a bonus. Same thing that happened last year. Hey, if he comes back, it's a bonus, but I'm moving on with my life, assuming that he's not coming back. Paxton's been nice. Whitlock's been nice. I'll even take what Cutter Crawford's given you. Tanner Houck's been nice. I'm just a little hesitant to buy back in. Like I'm not.
That's all I'm saying too.
Yeah, I'm very hesitant to be like, hey, the starting pitching's been good. We saw what the offense did in April. If they just turn it back on the way they were hitting in April, now we're kind of cooking with gas here. I'm hesitant to get in that mindset. I'm prepared for the worst. And I don't normally like to do that. Like I don't normally like to assume that the worst is going to happen. But in this particular instance, we've seen this movie before. And I hope that this isn't the path that we're headed down. But it seems like come trade deadline time, it's not unfathomable that you could see a Turner dealt, a Kenley dealt, a Chris Martin dealt,
a
Paxton. Yeah. Like you're talking about pieces when you're thinking about the next great Red Sox team, that next great Red Sox core, and Verdugo, like you mentioned, Verdugo as a guy that they wouldn't move. I mean, he doesn't have a contract after this year. He's going into free agency.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like you're not just going to unload aging veterans. It's like, hey, if you can get something for Verdugo, like do you explore that? But I kind of backpedal to the Himes MO, especially in Boston. We haven't seen him pull the trigger on a holy shit trade besides Mookie Betts. And I wouldn't even put that in the same category. Like if he were to trade Alex Verdugo, it would be a surprise. People would be like, whoa, what the fuck? Didn't see that coming. I thought that was a piece that you would like to retain moving forward. Mookie Betts, we knew that he was going to go. It's just a matter of who's going with him, what's coming back, and when is it going to happen. This trade deadline feels like it could be a little bit different. And I know that people have discussed the idea of, are they going to buy and sell at the same time? That's what they did last year. And it was a fucking abomination. Like trading Christian Vasquez, you got back two really good pieces. You got back Valdez and Abreu. We haven't seen Abreu yet, but everyone that I've talked to down in Worcester, they gush over this guy, or his swing at least. But then you hang on to JD, you hang on to Nate, you hang on to Xander, obviously, and then you stay over the luxury tax, which fucks you going into 2023. I'm very curious to see how they navigate it. Like, time will tell, because what if they just start winning again? I'm not going to assume that, but what if they do? They have the pitching to do it. If the bats wake up, then fine. Then you start winning baseball games.
And I think that's where people, like, we start talking about the trade deadline. This team can win, 81 to 85 games. Like, I don't think that's crazy. Definitely lately has made that even feel a little wild. But the sad thing is that's not going to get you in the playoffs. Yeah, you'll be in it. And I think that's what, the Red Sox were looking for entering this year. Be still competitive come September. Just be in the mix there. But that's where you are. Like, even you look at the Blue Jays right now, like, yeah, the Blue Jays and Red Sox are separated by, 4 games. They're 7 games over 500. You're a game under 500. Like, you know what I mean? So you do kind of sit there and you say, geez, like the Blue Jays, they've had their own struggles losing Alek Manoah. The Yankees haven't got Rodon back, and they've had their own injuries. The Orioles are going to get John Means back at some point. Grayson Rodriguez didn't pop for them. He's gone through his struggles and has to come back. Like, and, the Rays aren't going anywhere. So, like, how do you sit there and you kind of say, the Red Sox, are they going to really be able to make a jump over one of these teams? It's a hard sell. And, I think the Rangers aren't going anywhere. So the Astros are going to get a wild card spot too. And you kind of just realize, shit, that's the awful part about being in the American League, being in the AL East specifically. Being good isn't enough here. And I think that's where the Red Sox, they need to sit there and say, yeah, maybe they're going to try to walk that middle line. I felt like the deal they did make for Vasquez last year, that's what they should kind of look to do here. Open some spots up for younger guys, maybe some of those, guys you want to give an opportunity, you feel like they're ready to get that shot. But I'd put like a Verdugo in the unlikely trade category. But hey, if someone overwhelms you if you see a deal where you can go get a controllable piece for 3 years or something like that and build forward, take that shot. It's just, I wonder, I don't think the farm system, they have the capital to go get a Dylan Cease, in my opinion. I like the idea of that. I've heard it floated, but what are you going to give up to get that deal done? You know, is a package starting with Nick York going to get that done for you? And maybe with the draft coming up, you're going to have new guys entering the system that changes the convo. But, you know, for a team that's also still trying to build through their farm system, I wouldn't say they're in a position where they should be making a mega trade. The reality is they should be going to go pay an ace this offseason because you have the flexibility to do it.
Who's on? Actually, you know what? Jake, let's talk about Blue Moon. And while we're doing that, I want Tyler to pull up the free agent list for this coming offseason. I want to know what starting pitchers are out there. But first, tell us about Blue Moon, Jake.
Well, Shark Meat looks up that free agent list. Let's talk some Blue Moon. Beer is a tried and true baseball tradition, but Blue Moon is the only beer brewed by baseball. Blue Moon was born in a ballpark, first brewed at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Make it your one-of-a-kind baseball tradition whether you're at the park or watching from home. I'll tell you what, if I didn't have my fridge stocked full of Blue Moons this week, I would not have gotten through watching those games. Watching those games is like watching Tyler pet a dog. You just know things are about to get bad really quick. Thankfully, I had my Blue Moons by my side to help me relax and get through those games. Because with its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one of a kind? Its bold flavor, bright color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for spring weather. Best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful bright color, a beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Keep baseball traditions alive with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Check out shop.bluemoonbrewingcompany.com for baseball merch, and visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to find Blue Moon delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that a lot. Okay. As promised, Tyler, who are the free agent starting pitchers this coming off season?
Yeah, so like you got the Shohei Ohtani if you kind of want to have that conversation, right? Marcus Stroman, you know, if you want to walk that way. Aaron Nola, if you're looking for like a workhorse who can kind of carry you and bring you. And then after that, you start to talk about more of the second tier options. It's like, you know, those are ace names. Like you get a Jack Flaherty. Maybe you think you can get Lucas Giolito where he needs to go, right? And kind of try to go and figure it out that way. Clayton Kershaw is not coming to Boston. Sorry. And then as you go from there, you know, Kenta Maeda, I wouldn't put him in that category, but someone who's kind of captured it in a bottle at times. Blake Snell, who's shown it at times. Yeah, that's kind of really it.
I don't see any of those guys coming here.
I think like the name a lot of people are kind of, and you know, I've been kind of floating it too, is Yamamoto, who played with Yoshida in Japan. Yeah. That is kind of considered the Tanaka clone for a lot of people. Yeah. Young, 25 years old. Can you go pay that guy? You have someone who can kind of recruit him a little bit and just go that way. Is that the name you look at to say, all right, he's young. It fills the hole of developing another ace. You can pair him with a Bayo, Whitlock, who looks like a mid-rotation guy right now, whoever out of Cutter or Houck stands out, and then you kind of ride that pony.
Yeah, I saw you tweeting about him. And I've also seen Red Sox fans trying to project what the next year's team looks like. And I'm just looking at it so depressed. I'm just like, this is a lot of the same. This is a lot of the fucking same.
There is one name I forgot.
What?
Julio Urias.
Oh, okay.
Personally, I'm not in love with it. Overall, I do think he's someone the metrics have always kind of pointed to regression, and we've seen that this year with him. 4.39 ERA and 10 starts. I know he hasn't been healthy either, but that's another guy. If you're talking someone who could maybe fit into that, that's what it is.
Yeah, and he's young too. I think he came up when he was 19 years old.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know. Yamamoto is the one that continues to stick out to me, especially if the Red Sox, as they say, are so deep over there, they're paying attention to everything going on. Are you going to find a better solution than that? He's only 3 months older than me.
He's 40. He's 39.
Fuck you. But you could get that guy and say, all right, we're building around him. He is going to be one of our top rotation starters moving forward.
Sure. But then it just becomes another conversation of like, can he do it in the big leagues? Like,
sure.
That's just, I think
but
Yoshida
do you
has
trust
answered that question.
Sure. But I think he is in that tier where you look at like, he's not going to get like some little 2 or 3 year deal. He's going to get, he's way better than Kodai Senga. Like if you want to talk kind of the levels to this is someone like Tanaka where you sign him and you say, all right, maybe you don't turn into the ace, but you're so young, you should be able to lead this rotation moving forward.
Sure.
That's
a conversation for another day. It is June 15th, and I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time talking about what the Red Sox can do for next year's team this offseason. But I was just curious what some of the names were that would be available. But we teased it a little bit. Trevor Story talking about playing shortstop. When is he coming back? How does he feel about where he's going to play when he comes back? And it was pretty interesting what he had to say.
When did they say, Trevor, just to put this peace of mind, you're going to be our shortstop?
Yeah, I think it was, it's been an ongoing discussion, because obviously there's a possibility to maybe come back and play second at an earlier time, but I think, I was very, expressive in where I wanted to play and where I think I can still play, so at a high level. And that's what it came down to, and we were all on the same page there. And it was pretty simple.
So this is another thing that I talked about with Maz tonight, and he was trying to like give it an out, like the part where he says at an earlier time. He's like, did the conversation take place at an earlier time, or were they talking about can he come back to play at an earlier time if he plays second base versus shortstop? So let me just play it one more time.
When did they say, Trevor, just to put this peace of mind, you're going to be our shortstop?
Yeah, I think it was, it's been an ongoing discussion, because obviously there was a possibility to maybe come back and play second at an earlier time, but I think, I was very, expressive in where I wanted to play and where I think I can still play, so at a high level. And that's what it came down to, and we were all on the same page there. And it was pretty simple.
So you read between the lines there. The Red Sox were like, hey, Trevor, can you come back and play second base? Like, because we also suck there defensively too. Can you come back and play second base? And if you do come back to play second base, that means you can come back and play for us sooner than if you came back to play shortstop. And Trevor's like, well, I'm a shortstop, dude. Like, I was an all-star shortstop with the Rockies. You signed me to a 6-year deal as a free agent to play second base for 1 year because Xander was here. Now Xander's not here. So I'm going back to shortstop. Like, you don't have a shortstop either. I'm not playing second base. I'm going to play shortstop. And the thing that was standing in the way of me playing shortstop before was A, Xander, and B, my elbow. Xander's not here. I surgically repaired my elbow. What are we talking about second base for? So you can probably see it from both sides, right? Like if you're the Red Sox, you want Trevor Story back as soon as possible. And if you can get him back sooner playing second base, then that seems like the right thing to do. But if you're Trevor Story and you were told, hey, when shortstop frees up, that's your position. And then if the Red Sox try and, tiptoe in there and say, well, we kind of need you at second base again. You want to, be the second baseman again? It's like, well, no, dude. Like I played ball last year. I played the position that is, not my primary position. I did it because that's what the team needed. The team needs a shortstop. I am a shortstop. Stop trying to put me at second base if we also need a shortstop and that position's available too.
Yeah, I guess the way I interpreted it was, well, first off, before anything, like he is the starting shortstop. it was his position during the offseason. Like, that was the move this front office made. Laugh at them for whatever it made. They believed even with a bum elbow, he was going to be able to play the position. So that's first and foremost. It was his. He got hurt. That's why other people are playing short. But to me, I didn't take it as like he rejected it. It sounded more like, all right, it was on the table. Like, oh, as we come along in this process, could that be a route we go here? And I think for them, it's like, oh, well, yeah, maybe if Kiké returned to 2021 Kiké and he handled the position, maybe we'd move further along in that conversation. But I think where they are now, like the reality is, it doesn't make much sense to force that issue because you do need someone to come play shortstop. I think at the end of the day, the Red Sox realize you're going to get the most value out of him playing shortstop. And on top of it, what's the precedent for any of this? Can you ever remember a player switching to another position as he rehabs his elbow to come back early? Like that is no, I don't know anyone who's ever done that. Like, yes, we know you come back and hit a la Bryce Harper, Miguel Sano years ago, right? Did the same thing. And Story's willing to do that as well. But switching to second base when the Red Sox already told you, like, no, this was our starting shortstop coming into the year. I don't know. It felt like to me, it was like, oh, yeah, like it was something we considered. But he wraps it up saying, well, no, we were all kind of on the same page at the end of the day. Shortstop makes the most sense here. For his career as well, like you're going to tell a player who believes he can, like when the one thing that was stopping him from playing shortstop is fixed, you're going to tell that player, all right, well, we're going to kind of rush you and have you go play another position when your elbow isn't fully ready to go. Like, what kind of sell is that to the player who's trying to rehab and get it together here? It didn't make sense to me on a few different levels. I think it was an option that was probably discussed, but I think when you take in all the, variables of this situation, it's hard to justify going that route with any of it.
It's a sticky situation because I want
we don't
Trevor
know all
Story,
the details.
Yeah, we don't know all the discussions because at the end of the quote, he's saying, like they asked me to play second base and I told them I'm a shortstop. And then I said I can still play it at a high level. I'm a really good shortstop. And then we agreed on that. And that's that. He sounded frustrated. I'll be honest. Like it sounded like he was very carefully choosing his words. He was putting a lot of thought into the words that were coming out of his mouth because I don't think he wanted to say too much. I don't think that he didn't want to provide enough information, but trying to put myself in his shoes mentally, you're trying to say what you want to say, which is, hey, everyone, I'm a fucking shortstop. Like, why are we asking me to play second base? But on the other side of the fence, well, because we need you to come back as soon as possible. The ship's sinking. It's the same thing that I was talking about earlier with Kiké. If Kiké is making all these throwing errors and the Red Sox are 7 games over 500, there's less urgency to move him off the position. You probably still do it ultimately because it's unequivocally not working out. It's just not working out. You got to make the change. With Trevor Story, do they even ask him about playing second base and coming back sooner if they're not at the time 2 games under 500 and kind of just like, hey, we can't fall any further out of this thing?
But do we know the conversation has happened recently, or was this a conversation, in March where they said, well, this could be the rehab strategy if you go that route?
We don't know the timing, but I think we can assume it was a recent conversation because to what you just said earlier, he was the shortstop. I think the direct, like Alex Cora, I think said that, didn't he say it outright?
100%.
Like, Trevor Story is our shortstop.
And that's where I sit here. There's conflicting theories. Like if you want to continue to run with the narrative, and Maz is someone who's hung to this narrative and said they always believed he was going to be the shortstop, right? Like he was going to be that guy after Xander Bogaerts. That was the plan all along. I don't agree with that, but that's the narrative. Then you're telling me they flip this quickly and they're going to now say, oh, well, you're going to go play second base. Like it feels like there's I don't know. All the dots aren't connecting perfectly there, I guess, is the way I'd put it.
Well, if that means if playing second base means that you can come back sooner, then.
But what, like 2 weeks?
I don't know.
2 weeks.
We don't know enough. We don't know enough. We don't know when the conversation was. Like if it is, like you can come back 2 weeks sooner. It's like, is that going to make a world of a difference? Well, it could. I don't know.
And then you still have the biggest hole on this team, right? Like, and that's kind of where I'd sit there and I'd say, well, What? You're going to go play Trevor Story at second base? Cool. Awesome. I get it. What are you doing at shortstop?
Pablo Reyes.
Pablo Reyes and Yu Chang? Like, is that your plan? I'd much prefer to play
Yu Chang
Trevor
was
Story.
solid when he was there, by the way.
Oh, amazing fielder. They're praying for Yu Chang to come back. They are in a bad position because he's had, 2 setbacks now.
Yeah.
But I think in reality, like, they'd probably, if you're just doing it from a talent perspective, you put Yu Chang at short, and then you can kind of mix and match Arroyo, Kiké. Maybe Valdez factors in later as a platoon. Feels like a little bit more of a sturdy base than, Trevor Story, and then you got Yu Chang, who at the end of the day is going to hit like 180.
Yeah. Sounds like they need some better help at shortstop. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah. You need better help, Tyler.
Whoa. Because of all the losses in my life?
There's just a lot going on there. I feel like you need to you just need to talk about it. And it's just so
Where can
easy
I do
to
that?
get better help, of course. It's just so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about what you need for yourself. But when we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched out, thin, and burnt out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. And I can speak from personal experience. I was supporting someone, and I feel like in the course of doing that, I did leave myself behind for a little bit. But thanks to BetterHelp, I'm in a better spot now. As someone that finds great benefits from being in therapy, you can too. That's why I'm trying to get Tyler to do it. Trying to get Tyler to better himself.
Couples therapy.
Yeah. Because if you're thinking about starting therapy, you got to give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. I know you're a busy guy, Tyler. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Jared, Jared, today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Jared. Yes. Shout out to BetterHelp for being a name redacted sponsor. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's 1:30 in the morning. I don't know that I have a ton of thoughts on the actual series outside of it. Let's give some shout outs. We said we were going to do an hour. I feel like we're already over an hour at this point. Paxton, as we mentioned earlier, 6 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk. His ERA is down to 3.09.
The FIP matches it perfectly as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Winkowski gets 5 outs for you. Bernardino gets an out. Jansen. Back-to-back games, you had a tie ball game going into the bottom of the 9th. You lost both of those games.
I look at the offense. I think that first game, the fact that Connor Siebold did that to you, fucking Connor Siebold of all guys through 6 innings of 1-run ball.
I talked to
had
Connor
him.
Siebold.
I'm sorry.
He's a nice kid.
He seems like a nice kid. I'm not trying to hate on him, but goddamn, you should.
That's exactly what you just did. You shit on his life right there.
And I loved people tweeting me, well, his last 2 starts before this, he actually didn't give up a run in his first 5 innings pitch. Look at the fucking ERA. Are we going to grow up and act like Connor Siebold will be starting anywhere else? Maybe get a start in Oakland. He's not a big league starting pitcher. He's masquerading it on a friggin' fake franchise in the Rockies.
Whoa.
It's true. They'll run out anything. Let's be real. It's a poverty franchise. That's what they are. And you let Connor Siebold do that to you? Embarrassing. And you had multiple embarrassing moments in that game. Connor Wong getting thrown out at second like he did. Then the Nick Pivetta meltdown. Can't find the strike zone. Never going to feel super comfortable with him. I'm kind of just, he's solid out there, but man, he starts walking guys. You should get him out immediately.
He walked 3 batters in the inning of work. Was only able to get 2 outs. So then you have this big rain delay just to come back and get your dick kicked in immediately.
Fastest return and ending to a game. It was legit 6 minutes.
Yeah, we waited until 11:40. They came back and they were like, all right, game's over. You fucking lose. Get out of here.
Sickening. And obviously Casas had that rough moment there. Maybe people want to blame the game on him. I'm looking at the offense. You need to be better against a team like the Rockies. And realistically, you don't get a home run robbed by Nolan Jones and you're probably there and you won the game. But when fucking it rains, it pours. And that was when it was pouring.
Noted Red Sox fan, Nolan Jones.
Seems like a really nice kid. I was actually
nice.
listening to some of his interviews and stuff like that. You could tell he was excited to be at Fenway.
Yeah, I saw him before the game on Tuesday. We were talking. He's huge, by the way. He's like 6'4", 6'5". Big Red Sox fan. Grew up loving David Ortiz, and robbed Rafael Devers of a home run. He robbed him of the home run in the first game because when he came out of the dugout, I looked at him and I was like, "You motherfucker!" And
I thought that ball was over the bullpen. Like I was celebrating when I saw Devers hit the pose. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like they needed that. It took. I was like 10 seconds late after realizing he actually caught it.
Yeah. Second. Well, by the way, shout out to Daniel Bard. In that first game, he got the win in his 100th appearance at Fenway Park.
Insanely cool story.
He did not know that until after the game.
I'll be real with you. They had him on the ropes.
They did.
You got what? Duvall walked, and then Casas gets him on the pitch violation, and then next pitch is a double play.
Yeah. Next night, you see Bard again, gets another win. Fucking Daniel Bard, man. Another inning. Strikeout, no damage, nothing. That game, the second, Rafael Devers hits the 2-run shot, makes it 4-2 at the time. They chip away. It's 4-4. You go into the 9th inning, or go into the bottom of the 9th, no dice. Fucking 10th inning, a 3 spot for the Rockies. You're thinking, man, another fucking loss. Back-to-back nights. Bottom of the 9th, it's tied. You're going to lose a game again. Rafael Devers comes up. 2-run bomb. And this, I shit you not, Devers hits the 2-run home run, and I said, fuck.
Yeah,
because
there was no way they were winning.
No chance. The second that he hits the 2-run home run, I just tweeted out, and I was like, this should have been a walk-off home run. And it's going to just make this a shittier loss than if you just lost by 3 runs. Now you're going to lose by 1. Devers hits a 2-run home run in the 10th inning. It's not going to mean shit. And then, out of all the drama that we've talked about, we talked about a lot of drama, the Trevor Story stuff. We talked about the Heim, Cora, power dynamic. Kiké is no longer the shortstop. Casas is moved off first base a little bit. Rafael Devers, not in the lineup in the finale. Hits 2 homers the night before. And I understand there's a lefty on the mound, but he sucks. He's the worst pitcher in the league.
Gets smacked by lefties on top of it.
Gets smacked by lefties. It's a series finale with a day off the next day. Devers is hot. Where's Rafael Devers?
Like Cora had said days before, he was thinking about giving Yoshida the double off days. It seems like he's a little run down. I get it. Pick one and tip your cap to Alex Cora. It worked. He was right. They won the game. But man, for a team badly needing anything on offense, that felt like a very just lack of pulse-ish move where, you get swept by the Rockies, man. Where the hell is this team free falling going into an off day and then a series against the Yankees at home? But that's Cora, right? Never panic, never treat it differently. It's all 162 mean the same.
He manages for 162. Yeah.
I will say what happened in the 7th and 8th inning in that game was absolutely disgusting. 2nd and 3rd with 1 out after the Reyes single and Verdugo walked. Turner hits a softball to second. Reyes gets thrown out. Duvall couldn't capitalize. Then you get Duran, who steals second with no outs in the 8th, and then steals 3rd with 1 out, and you can't get him in either. Bad baseball. That's really embarrassing baseball to not be able to just situationally get one of those guys in. They did the opposite of that tonight, so that's nice to see, but some of the most frustrating and ugly baseball I've watched in recent years. It was
First
bad.
game of the series, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 6 men on base. Second game, 5 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They left 11 men on base.
Kluber came in and gave you 2 fucking scoreless innings.
He did.
Like, you couldn't win a game where Devers hit 2 home runs and Kluber somehow gave you 2 scoreless?
Finale, they were 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They left 6 men on base. But a 10-hit night, and it all came down to a 5-run 7th inning. Alex Verdugo, I believe, had 3 hits, right? Yeah, he had 3 hits. He had the double.
Single early.
Yep.
Throughout
Ref
a runner.
Snyder, fucking triple. Had a nice little slide and catch in the corner there. 2 hits for Ref Snyder. Rob Ref Snyder very quietly hitting 287 with an 821 OPS.
Only player that never disappoints me.
Yeah.
I know if Rob Ref Snyder's up there, I'm getting a great at bat and solid defense. Made a nice catch in left field as well.
Yep. What has Adam Duvall done since coming back?
Nothing. Yeah, well, no, he had that double that led to a run getting scored, but he's been rough.
Yeah, 0 for 4 tonight.
But that's not shocking. And I think the other thing is,
Well,
dude,
I mean,
if-
he was hitting the shit out of the ball during his little rehab stint
but-
there.
he had a couple
Yes.
homers.
He has 2 hits since coming back. 2 hits in what, 6 games? Yeah.
Yeah. I think you look at Duvall, it's just like Adam Duvall is going to be Adam Duvall. I'd love to say, he was going to be as hot as hell as he was to start the year. It's going to be, like low 200 batting average, and he's going to hit jacks. That's what you hope for. He should be a little better. He almost has basically another spring underneath him at this point. It's like 20 more at bats.
He's 2 for 18 with a double and a single since coming back.
Can I ask
Small
you
sample.
where you're sitting on the Garrett Whitlock situation?
I'm all the way in. I said this after his last start.
Did it, like seeing another start of him doing it? Is you just kind of at the point now where you're like,
No, I expect it now.
you expect it?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, I expect it now.
17 whiffs tonight. And for you, Jared, I know you'll like this. Sinker was up half a tick, so 0.6 miles per hour. The sweeper was up half a tick as well.
Look at that.
Changeup is still down 2 miles per hour on the year, which is good. That's what we want. That's the difference in speed he needs to be at.
There you go.
17 whiffs.
17. Yeah, I mean, is that where you're at? Because I feel like since coming off the injured list, outside he had one start where he gave up 4 earned or something like that.
Yeah, we're against the Rays where the defense was shitting the bed.
Yeah. Did I see somewhere that Alex Verdugo is the only everyday player on the Boston Red Sox to have like a defensive run save that's in like the positives?
That wouldn't shock me. That makes
Or
sense.
like-
I didn't see that myself, but they're
It's
not
either like
they're-
a DRS or like a outs above average that's positive. Everyone else is in the negatives.
I'd be curious to see because Wong, well, he plays like basically like he kind of plays the Christian Vasquez role at this point. He's going to play like 100 games a year, and McGuire will play 60. That probably isn't enough to technically qualify. I know Devers, in terms of out above average, he's at like 65th percentile, but DRS usually doesn't love him.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the bigger problems on this team. Defense fucking sucks. Any final thoughts on this series before we do a little fucking stop and shop look ahead so we can go to bed? It's 1:45 in the morning.
I don't think so. Just go into New York and take care of business.
Yeah.
Or
All right.
face New York and take care of business at Fenway.
Nice little off day coming up. I'm very excited for the off day because that means that I can get my HBO Max on. And
What are you gonna
if you're like
watch?
me, yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff on there. If you're like me, what you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. And I don't know that I'm not in a sad mood. Maybe I'm kind of just like I'm craving a comedy. Need a little pick me up. And that's why Max is my first pick for winning entertainment. Sometimes I'm craving comedies like Friends or South Park. You ever a South Park kid? No. I feel like that's before your time.
No,
You ever see the South Park movie?
I hope no one saw that. Don't watch this if you saw that. No, I was not shoving Five Guys fries into my mouth. But no, never was a big South Park kid.
Interesting. All right. I feel like you would like it. Sometimes I'm totally into the dramas, like the HBO originals Succession. And I also love the cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay. And don't get me started with movies like Lord of the Rings and Shazam Fury of the Gods, Tyler.
I love
Max.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I know you do. Max is the streaming destination that has the best entertainment for whatever mood I'm in anytime. And plans start as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit max.com. But right now, it's time for that Stop and Shop look ahead, brought to you by Stop and Shop. My energy is at an all-time low. I'm very.
Well, you sound depressed.
Yeah, I'm just tired. I'm fucking. It's late. It's been a long week. No days off. Even weekends, I'm grinding my balls off.
Hey, look at me. I'm going to need you to step it up here. I'm going to need you to step it
all
up.
I do
for
is
the Stop
step
and
it
Shop look ahead. No,
All I do is step it up.
You're pouting. You're pouting right now.
I'm not pouting. I'm just fucking tired.
Jake, is he pouting?
He's just tired.
I'm just
You're
tired,
also pouting.
dude.
You're also pouting.
No, he's not. He's tired too.
Pick it up. Let's go. Hustle.
The Stop and Shop look ahead, brought to you by Stop and Shop. Head on down to Stop and Shop. If you buy 5 pounds of tangerines, you get 10 cents off each tangerine when you use the promo code Section 10 only at Stop and Shop. It's the Boston Red Sox versus the New York Yankees. Woo! Rivalry renewed, am I right?
Suck on it.
Oh, yeah. Tanner Houck versus Domingo Germán. Brian Bayo versus Clark Schmidt. That game is on Fox 7:15. And then James Paxton and the Yankees have not named a starter for Sunday Night Baseball, those fucking cowards. Kidding me? Red Sox. Yankees. Again. Domingo Germán is 4-3 with a 3.49 ERA, an 0.99 WHIP, and an 8.6 strikeouts per nine. Domingo Germán's last start was against the Red Sox in the Bronx this past weekend. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a homer. Red Sox had 8 hard hit balls off Germán in that outing. Devers had 2, including his 108.4 mile per hour home run, which was the hardest hit off of Germán in the game. Arroyo and JT had 2 hard hits as well. Reese McGuire's 105.5 mile per hour double and Kiké's 98.2 mile per hour line out round out the list. The Red Sox were 4 for 8 with a double and a home run on hard hit balls. Germán got 9 whiffs in the game, 7 on his curveball and 2 on his changeup for the 23% clip on the night. Red Sox smoked his four seam, averaging 98.2 miles per hour exit velo on 4 balls in play. The Yankees are 7-5 when he pitches and have won 4 straight. Red Sox hitters 247 with a 766 OPS. Verdugo 5 for 15, 3 doubles and a homer. Reese McGuire 4 for 9, 2 doubles and a homer. And then opposing Domingo Germán would be Tanner Houck, who's 3-6 with a 5.23 ERA, a 1.26 WHIP, and an 8.8 strikeouts per nine. Last time out against the Yankees, he was excellent, but he did give up home runs, 2 of them. And shocker, lack of run support. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. They were both solo shots, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Houck had 14 whiffs in this game, which is in the upper half for him in starts this year. 7 on the slider, 4 splitter, 2 sinker, 1 four seam. The 7 whiffs on 12 swings from the slider was great, 58%. The Yankees hit the ball very hard, though, averaging 95.9 mile per hour exit velo on 14 balls in play. 9 of the 14 were hard hit, but Yankees were only 3 for 9 on those plate appearances. He actually got 7 outs on hard hit balls, as 1 was a double play. 5 of the hard hit balls had hit distances below 90 feet. One of the 2 home runs was fluky. That was the unicorn. It was only a home run at Yankee Stadium. That was Willie Calhoun. Tanner Houck clearly amped up. All of his pitches were up half a mile an hour, and his sinker was 94.2, which is 0.7 miles per hour higher than his season average. Red Sox are 5-7 when he pitches, and they've lost 6 straight. Yankees hitters 178 with a 573 OPS. DJ LeMahieu 0 for 11. Josh Donaldson 1 for 10 with 5 strikeouts, which does sync up because I think it was last summer. I was talking to Donaldson, and he was like, "What's the deal with this Houck kid?" I was like, "He's nasty, right?" He's like, "Yeah, he's fucking filthy. 1 for 10 with 5 strikeouts against Tanner Houck." In game 2, Brian Bayo versus Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt 2-6 with a 4.70 ERA, a 1.40 WHIP, and a 9.4 strikeouts per 9. By game score, his outing on Sunday night against the Red Sox was his third best this year. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts. He is walking 2.6 batters per 9 this year and 3.4 walks per 9 for his career in the Red Sox. Yeah, so they didn't work 1 walk in that outing. Let's go. Let's figure that shit out. Red Sox had 7 hard hit balls off of Schmidt out of the 15 balls in play. Duran had 2 of the hardest with a 110 mile per hour double and a 109.8 mile per hour single. Casas had 2 as well, the third hardest at 103.4. That was a flyout and another 97.3 mile per hour flyout. Turner, Verdugo, Kiké round out the list. Clark Schmidt, normally a sweeper, sinker, cutter, curve, changeup pitcher, but he went cutter, sweeper, curve, sinker. No changeups against the Red Sox, which was very interesting. Red Sox were 2 for 8 with 2 singles against the cutter, 0 for 7 with 2 strikeouts against the sweeper and the curve. They did their only damage against the sinker, 2 for 4, a double and a homer. Red Sox only had 7 whiffs all night, good for 16% of swings. Only had 3 groundouts against Schmidt, so hopefully seeing him consecutively results in hard contact. Those flyouts can carry a little bit. Yankees 4 for 10 when he 4 and 10 when he starts and have lost 4 straight. Red Sox hitters 273 with a 961 OPS against Clark Schmidt. Casas, McGuire, and JT have the home runs against Schmidt. Brian Bayo 3-4, a 3.78 ERA, a 1.34 WHIP, 8.4 strikeouts per 9. Game score had his most recent outing as the best start of the year. 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. The 7 innings is just the second time that he's done that all year. 3 strikeouts matches a season low, but 5 total base runners is also a new season low. Bayo allowed 10 hard hit balls on 21 balls in play. The Yankees were 2 for 9 with a pair of singles and reaching on an error in those plays. Only had 7 whiffs all game, but 5 came on the changeup, which he set a new season high with 28.6% usage. Against the sinker, 0 for 6, 2 strikeouts. Changeup, 1 for 8 with a single. Strikeout. 4-seam, 0 for 4. Slider was the second lowest usage of the season at 16.3%, but he still gave up a double on it. On 6 balls in play against this changeup, Yankees have averaged 77.6% exit velo, so soft contact. Red Sox 6-4 when Bayo pitches. Yankees hitters are hitting 246 with a 615 OPS against him. Rizzo 0 for 5. And then the Yankees have not named a starter again at this time for Sunday, but James Paxton in the series finale. Paxton 2-1 with a 3.09 ERA, a 1.16 WHIP, and a 12.4 strikeouts per 9. Since his only bad start of the year, he's gone 3 starts, 18 innings, 14 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 4 walks, 25 strikeouts. Opponents hitting, it's a 1.50 ERA, a 1.16 FIP, and a 5.51 OPS. All those great stats. Not a ton of luck involved. It's a 3.18 BABIP. Has not allowed a home run in these starts. Paxton is now in the 93rd percentile for strikeout percentage and 89th for whiff rate. I know we talked about trading him earlier, Tyler, but this is a guy that I probably like. Hey, you want a little extension piece?
Yeah, hey, that's an option too. I'm not against that either.
Yeah. He throws 3 main pitches here, and their whiff numbers are as follows. 4-seam, 29%, curveball, 37%, and the cutter, 34.5%. His 4-seam has 23 strikeouts, more than double his next closest pitch, which is interesting. A lot of guys just aren't fucking throwing 4-seamers anymore. The Red Sox are only 2-4 when he starts, despite his 4.42 runs of support per game. Yankees hitters, 230 batting average, a 708 OPS. Giancarlo Stanton, for a lefty-righty matchup, he is 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. DJ LeMahieu, 0 for 7 with a walk and a strikeout. Prediction time. I know breaking news. I mean, it's taken a long time to get to that, but Jake, you're done with sweep predictions.
Yeah, I'm out.
You're out.
Yeah, I mean, they're really just not giving me much of a choice.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got the Red Sox getting swept this weekend.
Wow.
This is a rough moment. This is sad.
I mean,
I don't blame him.
Talk about Verdugo getting benched. Jake going with the reverse sweep that's probably a shot across the bow that they did not expect. Whew. Tyler, what do you have?
I'll try to be positive. I'll go 2 out of 3. Do I feel super confident? No, but I'm hoping tonight sparks the lineup. Yoshida with an off day, as we've seen, usually kind of wakes him up a little bit. Maybe he can kind of figure it out. You're staying at Fenway for the series. I'm a little worried about Tanner Houck, them seeing him again this quickly with some of his struggles going through a lineup more than once. We saw it kind of was not trending in the best direction as that start went on in the same week. Whatever. I trust Brian Bayo. I trust James Paxton. I hope those guys can lead you. And I just expect the offense to be better than what it has been. There's no way it can continually be this bad. Stepped up tonight. I think they carry a little bit of that, but I'm telling you, whatever game they lose, it will be in the most painful way possible because that's just what this team does.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was actually going to say the same thing about Houck. I don't love him having back-to-back starts against the same team, although the Yankees can't really fucking hit either without Judge. But Herman, for whatever reason, pitches well against the Red Sox. So I'm going to go 2 out of 3 loss, win without knowing who's starting on Sunday, but like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, I think I'll follow the same pattern.
Loss, win, 2 out of 3 for the Sox, and Jake's got a sweep for the Yankees. Sad day.
It's a bad day.
Sad day, a bad day. All right. That does it for the 1 hour podcast, right?
We did better this time. Hour and a half?
It's 2 a.m.
I know, I'm really tired.
Same. Jake's takes.
I got nothing.
Jake wants to go to bed. Same. Tyler, any final thoughts?
Apologies for my haiku. I know I fucked up the first line.
You know what?
Listen,
You
we're
know what?
tired.
You know what?
We're
You know
all
what?
tired.
You know what? Read it.
Oh, no.
Read it.
Okay, hold on. I'm pulling it up.
Read it. Read it.
Okay. Red Sox. Avoid the sweep. 5 syllables. Ref Snyder for president. Whitlock is pure filth. Tyler Milliken, the poet. Fuck. Avoid sounds like 1 syllable.
No, it doesn't.
Avoid.
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 No.
Avoid.
Jake, what should the punishment be for Tyler fucking up a haiku?
Bring him to a Red Sox game.
Yeah, that'll be your punishment. You got to go to Fenway.
I'm down. I'm ready. It's my time to spread my wings. I was out tonight. I went to an event.
What event did you go to?
What do you mean?
What event did you go to?
Are you fucking kidding me right now? Look at what's today's date?
Oh, yeah.
The Boss for Bullet tribute concert.
How was the concert?
Bruce Springsteen was fucking electric. I could not believe how much he brought in.
Yeah.
He did a little impromptu speech about Bullet as they had a slideshow.
Mm-hmm. That was Ludacris. Did Ludacris show up?
He was a little late, but he
Okay.
did make it before curfew. But really, I thought Bow Wow stole the show over him a little bit.
Yeah. What about ZZ Top?
Didn't show.
Didn't show?
Just did not give a fuck.
No way.
I trust me, I was just as hurt, but it's okay. It didn't ruin the night. Bruce Springsteen went on.
Springsteen always goes for like 3 hours. So
3 encores.
yeah.
We had a little hologram of Bullet running around on the stage during the concert.
Yeah.
It was electric.
Wow. That's awesome. Bruce Springsteen, Lil Bow Wow, and Ludacris for the Bullet tribute show at TD Garden tonight. I wish I could have been there, but obviously, I've got to work.
Yeah. A lot of people asked for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I did like the little video. Like I filmed like a video that they showed at the end of the concert.
Yeah.
Like thank all the people that came.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up, Jake, though. I do appreciate it. Jake was orchestrating everything.
Jake loves Ludacris.
Oh, he was going nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back at the end of the Yankee series. Enjoy your off day. And I guess go Red Sox.
Red Sox. Let's go Red Sox. Let's go Red Sox. Go Red Sox.
Buenas noches, amigos.